As the sun rises over India, a forest awakens with an appetite. Of all the world's cats, tigers are the biggest, and Bengal tigers are among the largest in the world. But they don't start out that way. Born blind and helpless at 1 kilogram, they need care and training. And lots of attention from mum if they're to grow tiger strong. She'll teach them what to eat and how to catch it. At 2 months old, they follow their mother as she hunts, shadowing her moves, which they'll practice on each other later. She bags her prey by knocking it to the ground, biting its spine, or suffocating it with a bite to the throat. The cubs watch and learn as mother drags the carcass into cover, but they're still too young to devour it. Over the next months, the cubs will grow strong and fierce, 200-kilogram killers with the largest canine teeth of any living cats, more than 7 centimeters long. Their retractable, curved claws will grow up to 10 centimeters. But that's only the cubs that live that long. Half will never see their second birthday. So the cubs stick close to their mother for the first 2 years, learning her technique. They'll practice stalking and sneaking, and soon mother will take down prey, but make her cubs kill it. Skills that they'll need to help them grow strong. Their bond with their mother is tight. She'll even fight an invading male tiger to the death in order to protect them. Until they're strong enough to be on their own, she'll provide them with everything they need, including meals. With only 500 taste buds, compared to 9,000 on our own tongues, tigers aren't fussy eaters. If it's flesh, it's dinner. And that also includes fish. Unlike most cats, tigers don't mind water. They're strong swimmers that have no problem crossing rivers. Going on 2 years old now, these tigers in training are growing almost as strong as their mother. Their education is almost finished. Soon it'll be time to strike out on their own. The urge for independence has already begun. One of the male cubs asserts his dominance over his weaker siblings. Tigers are solitary beasts. Old enough to hunt on their own, they'll soon be competitors. For now, it's just fun and games. A few more weeks, and that's about to change. Besides growing physically strong, the tiger grows a powerful urge for independence, an urge he'll want to satisfy. At 2 years old, females find new territories close to their mother. Males wander further. Now grown, the dominant cub will leave his siblings. Playtime is over. They might never cross paths again. While looking to mark his territory, he encounters an unrelated young male with the same incompatible goal. A male tiger's territory might range 16 to 31 square kilometers, but the land isn't his for the taking. He has to earn it. This is his first test of strength. Tigers seldom fight each other, and when they do, injuries are rare. But these young tough guys have something to prove to each other. Each has to prove that he's the stronger one. The loser will rest up, pull himself together, and find some other territory to claim. He probably won't tangle with another male tiger again, because no matter how strong he's grown, his rival might be a little bit stronger. So for now, he'll keep to himself, staying out of trouble or prowling around until he finds a potential mate, secure in the strength that he's earned. Asian tiger cubs grow into strong, lanky killers. But strength doesn't have to be deadly. In Africa, a baby giant grows just strong enough to challenge his rival for the top job. Hippos hang out together mainly because it's convenient. The planet's third largest living land mammal spends most of its time in the water to escape the heat of the sub-Saharan sun. In the wet season, when the rivers are wide, they might break into groups of 10 to 15. But in the dry season, when rivers shrink, the hippo crowd grows. And tempers grow hot. Only the dominant bull hippos, just 10% of the male population, get to mate, and dominance is earned by aggression. The winner, the strongest hippo in the herd, gets his choice of cows. He'll mate with several in his harem and pass those strong genes to his young. A cow gives birth to a single 50-kilogram calf every 2 years and cares for it for several years. So new calves are often raised with older siblings. They can help their little brother or sister grow strong by showing how to steer clear of danger. But it's this crocodile who's feeling threatened today. Mothers keep babies away from the herd until they become stronger and more sure of themselves. They are born underwater. When they grow larger, they get around by pushing off the bottom of the river rather than swimming. Usually they're tall enough to touch the bottom. If necessary, they can hold their breath up to 5 minutes. The cow's job is to raise each of her calves for up to 7 years until they grow strong and independent. The bull's job is to dominate all the other bulls so he can father more. And that's fine, until another bull challenges him. Bigger and stronger bulls have the advantage. The alpha bull shows his strength with a colossal, tooth-bearing yawn. Over the course of 7 years, a male hippo will grow from 50 kilograms to about 3,000 kilograms. He'll eat almost 40 kilograms of grass each night, and his canine teeth will grow up to 40 centimeters long. They're mostly a way for him to show his strength. Mostly. The true test of strength for the young bull hippo comes when he dares to challenge the school's alpha bull. The contest starts off as posturing, but if no one backs down, the fight becomes real. At stake is access to all the fertile females, a hippo harem. If the challenger isn't strong enough to unseat his rival, he'd better be strong enough to survive the consequences. Banished from the water, he must try to recover from his wounds. Oxpeckers help by cleaning them. The alpha bull may one day let him return, as long as he never again challenges the alpha bull's strength. Much of hippo's strength, health, and comfort comes from birds and even fish that pluck parasites from their hides. Sometimes hippos actually seek out spots where the fish and birds collect so they can get a good cleaning. In return, the hippo excrement in the water makes it a nutritious environment for fish and fish-eating birds. Where hippos gather, give birth, and grow strong, they also make a strong contribution to their ecosystem. Hippopotami find strength in their size and lumbering lifestyle as they chase waterholes in the sunny African savanna. While elsewhere, hidden in the deep green rainforests, reside great groups of intelligent primates. Chimps form a strong, dynamic, and interactive community. Growing strong in a chimp society means learning to live by the rules and knowing one's place. Up to 100 chimps live in a troop, controlled by one alpha male, the chief chimp in charge. Males patrol the home range, while females raise the babies. The youngsters stay close to mother for about 7 years. Playing teaches them to get along with each other. The baby, born helpless, learns by observing his older siblings and mother. He depends on mother's milk for the first 3 years and learns to walk at 4. Chimp DNA is more than 98% identical to human DNA. And, like humans, young chimps get socialized through playing and fighting. No wonder their behavior is so recognizable. But here, aggression gets rewarded. An aggressive chimp might grow up to rule the troop. Growing strong means learning to lead. The strongest bond in a chimp troop is between mother and child, and it can last a lifetime. A male chimp might kill a rival's infant to get the mother to mate again. To keep that from happening, a female will mate with several males, so that no one in the troop is ever quite sure who the father is. A female chimp will have only 2 surviving babies in her lifetime, which is about 40 years. If a male chimp were human size, he'd be twice as strong as us. Males practice and learn to become an alpha, the leader of the troop. Other males answer to him, along with females and infants who have an even lower status. Chimps spend up to 8 hours a day looking for food or eating. They can cover 16 kilometers per day. They don't have strict territories, but they do have a home range that they protect, which is why they must keep strong. And today, they hear strangers coming. This male sounds the alert. Aside from humans, chimps are the only other species known to gang up and attack rivals. The intruders scurry away. As the chimps resume their foraging, the juveniles stay close to the adults, learning to stay clear of strangers. As long as the little ones have some adult supervision, they're free to explore the trees. These outings teach the juveniles how the troop members interact. Chimps eat fruit, but they can also hunt bird chicks, monkeys, and even wild pigs. That's the benefit of hunting in groups. They try to move quietly through the forest. Not only to sneak up on prey, but also to avoid confrontations with other chimps. But what's that in the tree? It's a free-ranging male, and he's not happy to be discovered. His threat against the other male works. Males sometimes leave their troops temporarily to forage on their own, or to look for better mating opportunities outside the group. Being a lone chimp can be risky, not just out of fear of invading another chimp's area, also from the chance of running into predators. But sometimes a chimp just feels strong and confident enough to take a chance and leave the safety of his group. In that respect, chimpanzees couldn't be any more different from elephants, who also form strong societies but stick together for life. African elephants, the largest living land animals, are a thirsty group. During the wet season, that's not a problem. Except for the little ones, not strong enough to care for themselves yet. There's a lot to learn. But Mum's got his back. A baby elephant can weigh 90 kilograms at birth and gain a kilo every day in its first year. The herd is mostly cows and their young. Adult bull elephants wander on their own. Elephants have to cover a lot of ground to find enough to eat. An adult can consume 160 kilograms of leaves, bark, fruit and grasses a day. They sleep less than any other mammal, only about 2 hours a night. The baby elephant needs his mother's protection. Play fighting teaches the bull calves the skills they'll need to win the right to mate someday. Their supple trunk contains about 100,000 muscles. It'll take plenty of practice to use them and grow strong. The calves stay with the herd for 2 to 3 years until they're weaned, getting stronger, learning where the watering holes are. And for the males, honing their fighting techniques. Soon the boys will leave the herd, and their days of friendly fighting will be done. Elephants are the only mammals that never stop growing, stronger and stronger. That includes their tusks. The biggest, oldest cows usually lead the herd, while the biggest bulls usually win the mating rights. Elephant herds are run by the matriarch, who might live 70 years. During that time, she's become an expert on finding the best grazing areas and resources to support her family. The matriarch teaches the herd about the finer things, like the joys of a nice, cooling dust bath. Most of the female members of the herd pitch in to help raise the calves. The matriarch will pass her knowledge to the next in line, who will take over when she dies. The bulls leave the herd at puberty and battle for mating rights. Adults can grow to 6,000 kilograms, and 25% of that weight is in their skulls. That's a colossal amount of power unleashed when rivals clash. Add 2 pairs of sharp tusks and the potential for damage is enormous, but generally no one gets hurt. The winner gets to mate with the herd's females, while the loser goes off to pick another fight and try again. Through living together and teaching each other, every African elephant has a chance to grow strong and contribute to the enduring traditions of the herd. At the watering hole, the source of all the savannah's strength, the cycle continues. Bulls bond with and eventually clash with other bulls. Until one relents. The whole cycle of life, mothers and sisters and aunts and calves settle in for the night, finding quiet power in the strength of their family. Meanwhile, in another part of the world, family life is anything but quiet. And growing strong is a life or death mission right from the start. Off Australia's southern coast, on the island of Tasmania, lives a species that has to prove its strength practically from the moment it's born. The Tasmanian devil, the largest living carnivorous marsupial, begins its life with the ultimate contest of sibling rivalry. Which might be why it always seems to be in a bad mood. The female Tasmanian devil, about the size of a big house cat, gives birth to as many as 20 babies, each the size of a grain of rice. The newborns, or imps, must climb up and into her pouch, where they'll find only 4 nipples. 4 lucky imps get to suckle, the rest die. The survivors leave the pouch after 4 months and are weaned at 10 months. Females survive males 2 to 1. Tasmanian devils eventually grow up to live on their own, getting together only to mate or feed. They communicate through a cacophony of screeches and screams, and when they're stressed, they give off a foul odor. The imps scavenge at dusk to get a jump on the nocturnal adults they'd otherwise compete with. When it comes to eating, it's first come, first serve. After the first feeder has gorged herself, the others can compete for what's left. The stronger imps have the advantage, but at least everyone gets a chance to dine. Feeding is the means to grow strong, and even though the devil's dining habits look chaotic, there's etiquette involved. Each feeder defends only the amount of food she wants, and her posture advertises how full she's become. That's the signal for a newcomer to come to the table. But that doesn't mean they don't clash. Tasmanian devils bite each other more than any other species. When eating, their powerful jaws let them devour bones and all, from carrion or food they hunt and kill. They can eat almost half their body weight per meal. Though it prefers an easy meal of carrion, a Tasmanian devil will also hunt small mammals, birds, or insects. Anything to stay strong. This hungry imp is not having any luck. Eventually, she'll expand her range. An adult can cover up to 16 kilometers in her search for food. This young one, at this cautious stage of her life cycle, stays close to the burrow and waits for another opportunity. Nighttime provides another chance for hunting or scavenging, another chance to grow strong. Guided by a keen sense of smell, this imp scored a real prize in finding a dead wallaby. She won't be able to keep it to herself for long. In the process of growing strong, the Tasmanian devil's life cycle looks like one conflict after another, usually focused on food. As these three imps tussle over the carcass, it seems like nobody's getting a chance to actually eat it. Meanwhile, the outsider patiently waits her turn to join in. But she needs an invitation. She'll eventually get to eat, and by following the rules, in 2 years, she and the other imps will grow into strong adult devils. They'll do their job, scavenging the carrion from the forest floor. Tasmanian devils grow strong by competing with their siblings. Other babies have more parental support, including one of the world's biggest babies. Rhinos, the gigantic African herbivores that look like a throwback to dinosaur days, are surprisingly light on their feet. Newborns, which weigh more than 50 kilograms, will grow to about 2 tons in 7 years. In some ways, the young ones are more safe than the adults, which are poached for their horns, which take years to grow. A more immediate nuisance are ticks and biting flies on their thick but sensitive hide. A good coating of cooling mud helps keep the bugs at bay. Rhinos, the second heaviest land animals, are happy to share the waterhole with the first, most of the time. Rhinos have poor vision, and some have hair-trigger tempers. It can easily mistake an elephant, or even a stump, for a threat and charge it. That's when the horn comes in handy. The horn is not just a symbol of strength that grows with the rhino, it's a real weapon that can impale the rhino's challengers. The two kinds of African rhinos grow strong on different diets. Black rhinos have pointed lips for browsing bushes and leaves. White rhinos have squared lips for grazing grasses. They wean their calves after 12 months. Black rhinos wean their young at 2 years. Black or white, baby rhinos have to rush to keep up with their mothers, who can bolt at up to 50 kilometers per hour. Black calves run behind their mums, while white rhino calves run in front. Male rhinos show their strength by declaring their territories. They mark their domain with urine and dung. If the strong smells don't work and an intruder trespasses, the conflict can get physical. Females aren't territorial and move freely across the boundaries, eating the vegetation. A white rhino can eat 60 kilograms per day, but females don't always get along either. Fights among rhinos can be lethal. Almost half the rhinos that battle each other die of their injuries, more than any other mammal. That's a good reason for rhino cows to keep their calves away from other rhinos. An adult white rhino's head can weigh more than 400 kilograms. Rhino horns aren't bone. They're made of keratin, the same substance as our hair and fingernails. If the horns get damaged, they will slowly grow back. It takes a rhino calf 7 years to grow them from scratch. For a young calf, less than a year old, big cats and hyenas can pose a serious threat. If a calf makes it to his first birthday, he's usually grown too strong for predators to mess with. Rhinos get a measure of protection from oxpecker birds. They pick parasites off their backs, but also sound the alarm if they see danger, acting as the rhino's eyes on the world. To make up for their poor vision, rhinos rely on their hearing and sense of smell. For up to 4 years, rhino calves stick tight to their mother's side, learning the benefits of mud wallowing, growing bigger and stronger under her protection. While black rhinos raise their young alone, white rhinos are more social, and groups of up to 10 adults and subadults might roam the savanna together. Every 2.5 to 5 years, they'll be ready to mate again. And by that time, the older calf will have grown strong and independent, with the skills to finally live on its own. Rhinos grow up by mastering a few simple skills. In Ethiopia, one of the most social mammals of all becomes strong by following the rules, and sometimes breaking them. Being born a baboon is like growing up in the family business. Everyone has a job to do. Each morning it's time to go to work, heading into the savanna to forage for seeds, roots, leaves or grasses. Babies are born with a strong grip, so they can tag along with their mother as she forages. To grow strong, they need to have ready access to mother's milk, even when she's busy. Being a baboon means you always know your place among all the other baboons. And if you're a baby, you've got plenty of company among your many half-siblings. Among the Hamadryas baboons, females care for their infants, sired by the same male leader. When day is done, the small groups converge on the rocky cliffs, where they spend the night together. Mostly the infants learn by playing. By watching the adults, they learn grooming and how to behave. Then, with practice, they teach themselves to climb. At about 3 years, the adolescent boys' games get a little more rough. Older, larger Hamadryas males have the highest rank and dominate anyone smaller. Though this protective mother draws the line at handing over her baby, males like to play with babies too. Females gain rank by cozying up to the troop leader, usually by grooming him. That benefits her female babies, who share her high rank when they reach adolescence. A male leader needs to be ready to fight off challenges. Sometimes lower-ranking males form coalitions to unseat the leader. Hamadryas baboons are born lanky and strong, clinging to their mother for the first year and growing half a kilogram every 3 months. By 1 year, they're gathering their own food. After the 4th year, males begin growing to twice the size of females. Males learn to be aggressive and strong. Each selects a small harem of females to mate with, herding them to make sure none of them wander off to another male. Several of these leader and harem groups live together. Young males might befriend a juvenile female, protecting her until she's old enough to mate. Mostly males coerce females to join their group by chasing and biting. Even so, females switch their mating groups every few years, and a male will sometimes aggressively pursue a female outside of his group, killing her infant so she'll be ready to mate with him. When tensions build, anyone can pick a fight, even young males and females. Fights between leader males are real, and so are the injuries. But the rewards are great. Not all males are born to be leaders. A follower male is content to be a non-mating member of the troop, spending the days foraging and enjoying socializing with his extended family. But if the leader male dies or is deposed, a follower male might seize the opportunity to take his place. Among the Hamadryas baboons, growing big and strong certainly has powerful advantages, especially in terms of mating. A successful baboon has lots of offspring. It's also his responsibility to ward off predators, to keep the group safe. But in this very complex, very social community of monkeys, where infants get plenty of attention and care, everyone finds his or her place. And the whole troop grows stronger for it. With the sun going down, all tempers grow cooler again. After a good night's rest, the baboons will have plenty of opportunities to show how strong they have grown and earn a better place in their society. Throughout the animal kingdom, strength is cultivated every day. What starts as playtime might grow into a high-stakes battle. Or sometimes, strength is built by the gentle guidance of a protective parent. Or not-so-gentle pressure of sibling rivalry. However it happens, growing strong means winning one's place in the world, and that's a crucial phase of every life cycle. On the vast and open African savanna, giraffes are one of the most outstanding animals. And not just because they stand out. Moving in herds, the world's tallest animals spend their days traveling from place to place, stretching their legs and searching for fresh foliage to eat. Their height is their advantage, giving them access to the newer, more nutritious leaves and buds beyond the reach of other animals. The young giraffes can eat leaves at the age of 4 months, but continue to nurse until they are 6 to 9 months old. Though a giraffe's neck is as tall as a man, it still has only 8 vertebrae, only one more than we have in our necks. Besides affording a taste of the treetops, that neck provides a penthouse view of danger on the horizon. They can spend up to 20 hours a day browsing, but because they're fussy eaters, they might end up consuming only 30 kilograms of leaves and twigs, or 2% of their body weight. They can get by on far less than that. To nab the tastiest buds, they can extend their 5.5-meter reach with the help of their half-meter-long tongue. They'll eat a variety of plants, but prefer acacias despite the thorns. They're not the only ones. An antelope called the gerenuk, which means giraffe-necked in Somali, has the same appetite, though not the reach. And elephants satisfy their acacia cravings through brute force. The giraffes have much simpler ways of getting their food of life. They strip acacia leaves and thorns off the branches by pulling back on it with their strong lips, tongue, and a sturdy pad at the front of their mouth. Both the tongue and the upper lip are prehensile. If you were to stick your fingers inside their mouth, you'll notice that it has teeth only at the bottom jaw. They work together to comb leaves from branches. Like a cow, a giraffe has a 4-chamber stomach. Food travels to the rumen and reticulum, where microbes digest the cellulose. Then up it goes on its 2-meter return trip to get chewed again as cud, and then back down, where the liquids and solids get separated by the 2 other chambers. When the dry season bears down and juicy foliage grows scarce, it's time to head for the waterhole. It's awkward for a leggy giraffe, who must splay out to reach the water. If his neck weren't equipped with reinforced arteries, bending down could make his blood vessels break. Plus, the gangly posture makes him vulnerable to predators. Except today is just too hot. For most of the year, giraffes usually get most of their water from the leaves they eat. And speaking of hot days, they also need to quench their thirst from time to time. In fact, in 1 week, they usually drink from 9 to 40 litres of water. But not necessarily. They can even go without drinking for 8 days. Some scientists think they could even survive for months. Before long, as the waterhole dries up, the giraffes will need to find a better browsing area. They're not territorial and might cover an area about the size of Salt Lake City. They can cover the ground in a hurry, sprinting up to 60 kilometers per hour. If they can't find acacia, they'll settle for any number of different kinds of trees or shrubs, and might have to settle for grasses. Sometimes these devoted herbivores have even been known to eat bones and antlers, probably to provide minerals they can't get from plants. When the rainy season finally comes, the foliage starts to grow green again. That's good news for all local life, including the giraffes, who will get their food for life again. While mealtime is always looking up for the statuesque giraffe, a much smaller but equally hungry hunter fills its belly by speeding in the opposite direction. They say still waters run deep, and that's okay for the kingfishers, colourful, savvy hunters that live at the water's edge in every continent except Antarctica. And though fishing is their life, they won't say no to a convenient bug on a branch. These bulbous, beaky, and often brilliantly colourful birds are very good at what they do. And what they do is dive. He hits the water at more than 60 kilometers per hour with lethal accuracy. He has to make every shot count because he must eat 60% of his body weight every day. He owes much of his hunting prowess to his spear-like beak. While his eyes focus on his meal, taking into account the refraction from the water, his beak pierces the surface with hardly a ripple and nails his target. To maximize their menu, they're very territorial, trying to stay between 1 and 3 kilometers away from rival kingfishers. Mainly, they enjoy rivers. The calmer and clearer, the better, so they can more easily spy their food below the surface. If a kingfisher's living here, you know the water quality is good. Some species can even hover over the water for several minutes, like a hummingbird, waiting for lunch to swim by. Smacking his catch against the branch takes the fight out of it, so it goes down easier. This fellow's got more mouths to feed. In his nest, built into the riverbank, his chicks await, naked, blind, and helpless. Mother stays at home with them. Still, they're not out of danger. Only around a quarter will survive their first year. Their overly optimistic parents might throw some of them out of the nest before they've learned to fish, and they'll drown. The kingfisher's specialized egg-shaped eyeballs provide binocular vision in the air and binocular vision underwater, so he won't lose sight of his target. As he hits the water, a transparent third eyelid closes to protect his eyes. As much as kingfishers enjoy the water, heavy rain can be a real problem. As the river rises, the clear river he depends on grows turbulent, silty, treacherous. It puts his fishing skills to the test. He has to fish so his chicks can eat. If the river rises too high, it could flood the nest. He makes several desperate attempts to get to the nearly flooded nest. But he is not very successful. The food of life for his chicks is still in his beak. If he doesn't deliver, they may die. But in the end, he makes it. It looks like he and his family will survive this storm after all. Sometimes life's a challenge. It appears that there is bigger demand for food of life in the nest. He has to keep on delivering. He must really be looking forward to the day his chicks get independent or fledge, which is about 23 to 27 days from their hatching. The kingfisher feeds his family by being a high-speed assassin. Others look for lunch at a more leisurely pace. We share this planet with more than 6,000 species of lizards. Only 80 species of them are the large, sharp-clawed, muscular meat-eaters known as monitors. In Australia, almost nothing can stop this hungry 2-meter-long lace monitor when he sniffs out his next meal. He has caught scent of a small animal living on a tree. A possum. If he wants, he can run 20 kilometers an hour. The tree doesn't even slow him down. Much to the distress of the possum. The possum, with no real defenses, tries threats and intimidation. The monitor retreats, but not really. By now, it is apparent that the possum is not his primary target. Putting up a vicious resistance, the possum can't penetrate the invader's tough hide, while he's getting exactly what he came for, her babies. She herself is in luck, though. It could easily have been her to become his food of life. A monitor will eat almost any animal it can catch, living or dead, and it will even scavenge scraps left by careless campers. Besides crawling and climbing, the monitor's an expert swimmer. Today, he doesn't have to go far. His sensitive tongue propels scent molecules to the Jacobson's organs on the roof of his mouth. The system helps the monitor not only smell his next meal, but also find its correct location, sometimes even kilometers away when the wind is right. Today, he sniffs out a real prize, the carcass of a kangaroo. After a large meal like this, he might not have to eat again for a week or more. Along Australia's east coast, the lace monitor's 20 kilograms of terror is nothing compared to the monster monitor that lurks among the 5 islands in Indonesia. One island, Komodo, gives this dragon its name. The largest living lizard on Earth, the average Komodo dragon stretches almost 3 meters long and weighs almost 100 kilograms. They've been known to tip the scales at 160. To catch a bite, it can run up to 20 kilometers per hour, but prefers to hunt by stealth. Besides a mouth full of infectious bacteria, it secretes a venom that causes blood loss and shock. Its eyes evolved to detect movement. He can see to a distance of 300 meters. And this injured water buffalo is a delight to behold. He won't be dining alone. The smell of a potential meal can attract dragons from 2 or more kilometers away. The Komodo's hunting technique is simple. He knows time is on his side. A hungry Komodo dragon scores his meal by knocking it down and tearing into it with steak knife teeth. If the victim escapes, the dragon's venomous bite will kill it within 24 hours, while the Komodo tracks it until it falls. This buffalo isn't going anywhere. The dragons can swallow large chunks of flesh. They'll even eat bones, hide, and hooves, and their stomachs can expand so they can devour 80% of their body weight in one sitting, which only goes to show, in Indonesia, dragons are absolutely real. Unchanged for millions of years, monitor lizards formed their effective eating habits long ago. And in the ocean, the same can be said for these next hungry creatures. Almost 500 species of shark ply the world's oceans. Most of them are apex predators with a ferociously keen sense of smell, multiple rows of teeth, an uncanny way of finding food, and the drive to eat. But each has a different appetite. The tiger shark is probably the least fussy eater of them all. If he's hungry enough, and he generally is, he'll devour anything: fish, sea snakes, or squid. Sometimes they hang out near the shore, which is too bad for these young albatrosses just learning to fly. This tiger shark, who hasn't outgrown his juvenile stripes, couldn't have timed it better. The albatross celebrates its triumphant first flight for a moment. Its companions are like sitting ducks until the tiger shark eats his fill and moves on. A well-fed adult tiger shark can grow to 6 meters or more. But that's small fry compared to his cousin, one of the non-predatory exceptions among sharks. The 18-ton, 10-meter-long whale shark. Unlike his speedy, bloodthirsty relative, the whale shark cruises at around 4 kilometers per hour as he trolls tropical waters searching for his next meal. His enormous mouth is lined with 300 teeth, but they're tiny and apparently useless, because mostly he eats plankton. The whale shark filters plankton as small as 1 millimeter by ramming seawater across pads in its throat. The water passes over its gills and back out to sea. Like any fine filter, the pads may get clogged with debris, and the shark has to cough and backflush it to feed again. So unless you're plankton, or a jellyfish, crab larvae, or an anchovy, the largest fish in the sea is a gentle giant. But for his preferred tiny prey, he's just as lethal as any other shark, just as focused on feeding, just as good at locating his next meal. And when he finds it near the surface, he moves in, opens his giant maw, and slurps his supper. While the whale shark may be the largest fish in the sea, he's certainly not the most terrifying. That distinction, deserved or not, goes to the great white shark, the largest predatory fish in the ocean. He can grow to more than 6 meters and 2,000 kilograms. Built for the hunt, he goes for the big game: blubbery seals and sea lions or cetaceans. His eyes see well in daylight and in the inky ocean, but nothing beats his sense of smell. He can sniff out a single drop of blood in about 100 liters of water, or an injured fish from 5 kilometers away. He can pursue his dinner at 24 kilometers per hour. and wrap those famous teeth around it like 300 steak knives. Like many sharks, the great white is loaded with sensors on its snout that home in on his prey's electrical signal. Resistance is futile. Relying on stealth, he sneaks up from the depths directly below his meal selection. He can migrate across entire oceans to follow the seasons and the food. If a hungry, opportunistic great white shark should ever somehow find itself in sub-Saharan Africa, it might discover it's met its match. In this equally resourceful, vicious and hungry beast. The Nile crocodile. For now, it's quiet. It's the dry season, and the monster hides to conserve his strength. The water is almost gone. Food is scarce. But not for long. Seasonal rains bring the long-missing commodity, water, and with water, life returns. Showtime for the Nile crocodile. At up to 6 meters long, he's the second largest reptile in the world and the largest in Africa. Ever patient, he can go weeks without eating. Now he's ravenous. Also, the fish are returning in numbers to the rivers, an ideal opportunity to satisfy his atavistic hunger. The catfish makes a good appetizer, but given the chance, he can eat half his body weight in one sitting. The bigger the croc, the bigger the prey. It's more efficient that way. These cold-blooded social creatures prefer lakes, rivers and swamps, where they enjoy basking in the sun. They're saving their energy for mealtime. Opening their mouths helps them cool off. Those teeth, up to 68 sharp cones, are about to see some action. The wildebeest are on the move. It's their annual migration to greener pastures, but they've got to cross the croc-infested river to get there. The croc's patience is about to be rewarded. He is about to pick the best item from the rich menu. With some of the most powerful jaws in the animal kingdom, a croc seldom loses his meal once he sinks his teeth in. He kills by dragging it under and drowning it. A valve in his throat lets him keep his grip under the surface without swallowing water. Crossing the river, the awkward wildebeest are out of their element, while the croc is perfectly at home. He can swim up to 35 kilometers per hour. Pressure sensors on his snout lead him right to his next meal. Many wildebeest manage to escape, but that's not a problem. The crocs start their feast. One thing the croc can't do is chew. By biting down hard and performing the death roll, he pulls off chunks of his dinner. His comrades join in. Older, larger males get to eat first. Because crocs can't chew, they have to swallow stones, which grind up the chunks of meat and bone they gulp down. That, coupled with the strongest stomach acid of any vertebrate, allows them to digest just about anything. The wildebeest have passed and the feast is done. Satisfied, the full-bellied crocs return to their lounging spot. Before long, the dry season will roll in again, turning this predator's paradise into a parched riverbed. But the crocs won't mind. They'll go back to their lairs and wait for the rains to return. Nile crocodiles have been known to wander away from the watering hole, alone or in groups, to grab a bite to eat. And that's just one of the many ways they're totally unlike these next animals, who never go out to eat. Koalas. Australia's most famous cuddly-looking marsupial are inseparable from eucalyptus trees. The fragrant leaves are practically the only thing they eat. And if that's not fussy enough, out of about 600 species of eucalypts, koalas only prefer around 5. They're one of only 3 mammals that can consume the highly fibrous, toxic, low-nutrient leaves and actually thrive, thanks to their highly specialized digestive tract. Like most plant eaters, the koala has a digestive organ called a cecum, where bacteria break down all the fiber. The koala's cecum is almost 2 meters long, yet even though food passes very slowly through it, the koala manages to absorb only 25% of the fiber it eats. When a koala isn't eating or picking off ticks, it spends up to 22 hours a day sleeping. He doesn't get much energy from his food, so he must conserve it, to have enough energy to eat again. Pudgy, drowsy, indifferent, It's what you'd expect from a creature that spends almost every waking moment eating junk food. To his credit, he doesn't just stick to one tree. Each koala stakes out his or her own small grove of nearby trees in the forest and switches it up now and then. They regularly move between these home-range trees. This allows the regeneration of the eucalyptus leaves. On the ground, he's defenseless and completely vulnerable. In some cases, the territory can stretch up to 40 hectares in area. That's quite a lot of trees and food to look after. He guards his range from other koalas so that the food it provides remains his. He ends his walkabout by marking his tree with a scent gland on his chest. But something else has got him fired up, and this is really what he's been saving his energy for. It's time to mate. All this running and climbing means energy expenditure, and for the koala, it's very demanding. The female doesn't share his appetite. She rejects him and goes back to eating leaves. A koala eats about 1 kilo of leaves every day. A female nursing a joey needs to eat even more. Their sharp front teeth snip the foliage off the branch, and the rear molars shred it into tiny pieces. And then it's nap time. While she snoozes, her digestive system gets to work, squeezing nutrients out of her lunch. When the moon sets on the sky, the koalas wake up again. The male hasn't lost his interest. While the female remains on her tree and continues eating, he continues his conquest and attempts courting again. And succeeds. All this stored energy and his persistence is turning into profit. But he's not invited to stay the night. After expending so much energy, he needs to eat again and is joined by a young squirrel glider. Though he is not direct competition, the koala seems not to enjoy his company. After all, those leaves are his food of life, and he won't risk anyone so much as tasting them. The koala's diet doesn't have much variety, but at least he always knows where his next meal is coming from. Moving on a little less than 9,000 kilometers to the west from cute marsupials to a variety of amazing lizards. While koalas are confined to a steady diet of eucalyptus leaves in Australia, off the coast of Africa, chameleons enjoy a diet of diversity. Scientists recognize more than 200 species of chameleons, and nearly half of them live exclusively on Madagascar, an island twice the size of the UK. These stealthy lizards come in all sizes. They all eat insects and bugs, and they all do it in a remarkable way. Its prey never sees it coming, because the chameleon doesn't need to be close to its meal to consume it. But he owes his success to more than his long tongue. Unlike any other creature, chameleons' fast-focused telephoto eyes each work independently to provide 360-degree panoramic vision. He stays still while his eyes shop for lunch. By swaying like a leaf, he hides among the foliage to avoid his own predators as he creeps towards his meal, or waits for it to come to him. When he's ready to strike, those eyes lock on the target and gauge the distance, and then action. A chameleon's tongue lays contracted in its mouth, surrounded by a ringed accelerator muscle. Some species deploy their tongues faster than a fighter jet, 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 1/100th of a second. The tongue, twice the length of the chameleon, is tipped with sticky mucus to grab its prey. The mucus on the tip of its flypaper tongue is about 400 times stickier than human saliva. That, combined with the tongue's suction cup tip, can pull in 1/3 of the chameleon's own weight. Madagascar's largest chameleon is as long as a rabbit. The smallest can fit on the nail of your little finger. This guy, the minute brown leaf chameleon, is the second smallest. Under the forest canopy, where lemurs swing from branches and drop fruit, which rots and attracts insects for the chameleon to eat, hangs another brown leaf chameleon. Smaller chameleons have the fastest tongues. No one knows why. Chameleons are naturally camouflaged to hide in their hunting areas. But their legendary ability to change color has more to do with communicating with other chameleons than it does with matching the wallpaper. But it sure helps with a hunt anyway. But it's not just fruit flies, grasshoppers, or small cockroaches that should worry. This baby Labord's chameleon has a different appetite. His eyes have picked up a spider. Spiders, which have their own sneaky, sticky way of catching a meal, might be outsmarted by their lightning-fast tongue. But this little chameleon's eyes might be making promises his tongue can't deliver. The Nephila spider is just too big for him. Time to hatch a new plan and fill up on spiderlings. It's a feast. After all, why bother with a big catch when there is plenty of small snacks on a silver platter? We live in a hungry, hungry world. Around the clock and around the globe, in forests and seas, something is eating or being eaten. Every appetite is a customized recipe for survival, refined over generations. And whether an animal favors flesh or foliage, it is nourishing its life cycle.